Hello everyone, this is Gorax with a quick one about Season 4 endgame boss in Ice Blast team. I've been asked this question constantly on Discord because apparently not many teams were able to reproduce the damage they were doing before 50%, after 50%. I managed to do it, but I had to tweak equipment a little bit. So before I go over the tweaks, let's go over the team composition, timings, the current equipment, and then some tweaks around. Okay, so the team I used was based mostly on the damage coming from Nadia using Poison of Swamp, Shade of Death set, and obviously Carnage gloves. With over 330 crit damage before Poison of Swamp, Nadia was doing a lot of damage. We obviously have to use Sheena if we're using multiple Ice Blast heroes. If you don't have Sheena, just opt out for Nord or Beldelle and Nadia and support them as well. The damage will be a little bit lower, but it will work really well. I used Chest of Radiance here and build Sheena with damage, and I'll explain why just in a second. Then Beldelle with Downpipe Organ and Shade of Death set as well. So as you can see, everyone is giving some attack to Nadia, making her very powerful, and all of my heroes are range, right? So everyone is benefiting from it, even our tank Felia, who will be the one taking the ultimate down. Now, this is after I realized that I could have built Felia with HP and resistance. If I build her this way, I could resist the ultimate down eventually, and then cast the shield at the right time, making this fight a little bit less random, because she will cast the shield before, well, just during the ultimate and covering the first skill, so we'll get control immunity as well. Now, why am I building Sheena with damage when we usually build her with Witch's Remains? Is because I'm not using Witch's Remains. I'm using the new artifact Mystic Conch on Felia, who applies a healing prohibition debuff that I don't really want. It doesn't help me against the boss. So what I'm doing here is I'm building her as a debuffer and buffer, because we have Cyril set, as a healer as well, because she heals with her battle skill. And since all my heroes are range, everyone is benefiting from the debuff immunity, so she is casting that and prevents us from getting debuff immunity. And as you can see, she is also on 15-second rotation, because she can cast it at 14.9, which means I have 2 rotations of Mystic Conch over single rotation of the boss. So I have 20-second upkeep on 30-second rotation, which is quite good. And this is why we use Felia here, because all our damage is coming from the battle skills of our heroes. So the longer we have defense down, the better the results. And the timings here are very simple as well. If we look at this, we have Felia starting at 8.5, and then every 15 seconds, because the second rotation will happen at 23.5, which is where we want debuff immunity. Then we have Felia at 33.5. If you build her with resistance, you can even go shorter cooldown here at like 30.5. Okay, so it will mitigate a little bit of damage on the boss, but also will guarantee us this control immunity. Damage dealers, we start with Sheena to give us crystals, then Beldelle to give us 20% attack up, and then Nadia's ultimate. After that, we go random, because some of them have a little bit extra haste, and we want Sheena to cast and give us these crystals as much as possible. When it comes to the possible replacement, if you don't have Felia, you should have Aladia, and Aladia works really well against this boss as well, as she grants us shield and control immunity. On top of that, there's a chance to apply attack penalty, making our team survive very well. When it comes to damage dealers, as I said, if you don't have Sheena, you can still play 3 of the Ice Blast team heroes, but you could also opt out for 2. Now, the best way to deal with the lack of crystals is using Nord, as Nord generates quite a lot of the crystals, okay? So make sure you do that, and you can build Nord with the new attack speed, so he will get additional chance, basically, of granting you extra crystals, which will work really well. And the set gives you over 70% attack speed, so that's nice. I wouldn't use Garfen here if you're using this combo, because then Garfen will not benefit from the debuff immunity and healing from Felia. Okay, so that won't work. Now, if you haven't used Gladros anywhere else, he is a good replacement to Felia. If you do that, if you replace Felia with Gladros, you need a second healer, and there's few viable options. You can bring more damage with Zardoff. He should have enough healing to be able to do that, or you can still bring Felia, right? You'll just have two double debuff immunities, which you preferably want to use elsewhere. You can bring in Megan as well. She will heal enough. You can bring Estella after rework. She's really good, and this will help you. And I believe this Ice Blast team doing 140 million is a really good team, as I'm not using Beldelle. I'm not using anything exclusive. I mean, Felia is harder to get than anything else, but you have an option, a viable option here with Aladia that I didn't use this season, but yeah, it's a viable option if you don't have Felia. And as I said, this team is doing really well, 140 million, which is decent, and can give you at least a full reward a day. So let me know how you build your Ice Blast teams, because the teams with Beldelle and Astarion, if you didn't build Shadow team, you can also put Astarion here. Those teams will do more damage. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching, stay safe, bye!